to Center for Spiritual Living, Leesburg. The theme for this year is Living Everyday Wonder. And our theme for April is creativity. The title of our talk today is Say Yes to the Yes. Can't wait to hear that one. And it will be given by our wonderful spiritual director, Charlene Banks. We're so glad that you joined us here this morning. Please feel free to add to the chat or in the comments section any prayer requests or celebrations that you would like us to include later in our service when we practice our community prayer, which is spiritual mind treatment. And this is an affirmative prayer. We invite you to get comfortable and relax into this moment as we begin our service. Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be a service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is.
We invite you to, if you have any prayer requests, please type them into the chat because we will be holding you in prayer as we do our spiritual mind treatment, as Tamara already said. So hi, I am the spiritual director here at Center for Spiritual Living, Leesburg. And as your spiritual director and as a ministerial student at the same time, I get the privilege of learning how all this works together in a deeper level, and then immediately coming out of a class into this so-called pulpit and sharing with you what I've learned and what I'm growing into. And I love that you're on this journey with me. Where would I be without you guys? So I'm really grateful for this community. But let's take this time as we go in. We're going to start our centering meditation right now and just really being extra aware of the beauty of spring, of newness, the month of April as we begin. So just anchoring ourselves in our seat, wherever we are right now, taking a nice deep breath, allowing just all the worries and any busyness that might have accompanied us to this moment to just fall away. and leaving behind only the pure essence of what is. What is right now. Right now, this very moment, as our breath is moving into our body, providing the oxygen that our cells need, and then as the waste is released from our body, that inflow and our outflow, is just an example of how changeable life is, how malleable, how everything ebbs and flows. In and out we breathe. All that we need is right here. All that we need is right where we are. We are right where we're supposed to be in this moment. Just feel that within. Expand your diaphragm as you breathe in. Just really feel the ebb and the flow. Feel the breath moving through you and know that that is the breath of life, of the divine. We don't have to earn the next breath, and we don't have to be good enough to get it. It is as it is, already given, unconsciously moving, always. This present moment is all that we have. It's the only thing that's real. For the future is a fantasy and the past is memory. Really feel. Now, in your body, in our bodies, we have senses. Feel, hear, smell, and see your surroundings. That is right now. This moment. Infinite possibilities exist right now, in this moment. Let's take this moment to give gratitude to every organ and function of our being. Simply be grateful. It might sound like, thank you, lungs. You're so awesome. Breathing in and out for me. Doing what you do with the molecules. And thank you, diaphragm. And it could just go inside your body and just be grateful for a couple organs. How does that feel? Makes me smile. to be grateful to my heart for steadily beating the way it does. This miracle of life. We are part of it. It is part of us. Spirit is us, as us, expressing through us. And we're still here, so we're not done yet. Work in progress. So I'm so grateful to just take this moment of going in and just being aware and conscious of what is happening right now. And I'm grateful to know that all is well. And as I take my mind's eye and connect it to each and every one of our spiritual community members, I'm grateful that we are the body of CSL Leesburg, and all is well. Each of us with our functions, each of the volunteers that help with this very production. It is quite a production. I'm so grateful for every single one of you. And as I think about our community, our city that we live in, and our state, and our country, and the world, we are all part of an amazing one body. Each of us having specific duties, specific purpose, and I'm grateful for all of us, wherever we may be. And this gratitude, I extend it, I receive it, and I simply bless it. Thank you, Spirit, for showing up as me. I let it go into the universe and release it, and so it is. And so we have special live music today, yay, from Leah. So let me stop sharing and then focus on Miss Leah here. Hey.
Good morning, everyone. I'll keep this introduction brief, but I heard this mantra shared recently, and it has been with me on a daily basis as a receptivity, a saying yes, a being open in each moment, just as we reflected in the meditation. So when it becomes familiar to you, I'd like to invite you to sing along. I open myself to love, and I know that I deserve it. I open myself to love. I open myself to love, and I know that I deserve it. I open myself to love. I open myself to love, and I know that I deserve it. I open myself to love. I open myself to love, and I know that I deserve it. I open myself to love. Let's sing I open my life. I open my life to love, and I know that I deserve it. I open my life to love. I open my life to love,
Oh, wow, that was so good. I was singing and rocking. I opened myself to love. Ah, thank you, Leah. It's so good to have you live in person. So happy April. Welcome. And this month we're talking about creativity. So isn't it perfect that last month we talked about play? And this month we go right into creativity, because when we're open to spirit in the way that Leah sung about, we are allowing ourselves to let go of the preconceived notions of what it should look like. We become playful, and creativity cannot help but ensue. So what is creativity exactly? Well, first, let me give you an idea of where we're going for this whole month, just to sort of get an overview. Right now, today, I'm going to talk about Say Yes to the Yes. And it's a takeoff of that one title of that reality show, Say Yes to the Dress. And so saying yes to the yes means that we are going to say yes to our creative impulse. And I'll talk to you all about that creative impulse and how it is that we could be unconsciously saying no to it this whole time and how it could hold us back. But then next week when Melinda talks, she's going to talk about the journey of the creative process. And next Sunday is also Palm Sunday, so there's a little bit of an allegory regarding the journey of Jesus on the animal that took him through. It's a whole thing, so I can't wait for that. The following Sunday is Easter Sunday, and as you know, rebirth, renewal, reimagining, coming out into our own new life of creativity, it's all about rebirth. And so that's what we'll talk about then. And then the last Sunday of the month, we talk about bringing our creativity that we've newly discovered and emphasized and groomed. We bring it out into the world in many different ways. So April it's a good month. And besides that, we get hopefully warm weather out of this. I mean, maybe. So today, though, I'm going to be discussing our creativity as it shows up in us and saying yes to the yes. And so I have to start with this. You know how in the Bible it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And he parted this and did that and said these words. And oh my gosh, then it was a lot of God said this, and then things happened. Now, I'm not here to discuss with you any of the logistics of that, because both sides are like, wait, creation happened, and the other side says the Big Bang happened. And I always say, why not creation as the Big Bang? I mean, can we do that? And if you could take that personal anthropomorphic image of God away and replace it with an impulse of life to experience itself, I mean, then it works, right? It works. So if in the beginning, the creative impulse of life itself spoke a word and then it happened, or it had an idea and then that idea came forth, it had an impulse and that impulse materialized, then what is leading our physical experience? What leads it is the word, the idea, the seed, the thought. The impulse comes first, and then the result of that is a experience, a thing, life itself, right? So the energy impulse of life said, I want to be life. I want to show up as Charlene, and bam. See, that's how that happened. And so that is the macrocosm. That's what we believe here at Centers for Spiritual Living. It's ancient wisdom. This is not new. If you go back over different religions, it was always a being, a divinity, an energy higher than man said, I want to experience, and then boom, there it was. So this is not just Centers for Spiritual Living. This is an ancient wisdom that creativity happened on the macro by thought becomes things, and then in the micro, once this thing thought of as Charlene got here on this planet, now I myself am in the micro, the creator of my experience. And let's call it a co-creator of my own experience. So that means when I look around and I feel like I really want to express myself in a certain way, this is the creativity, then I catch the idea, I get it into me somehow, and sometimes it's just meditation, sometimes it's a vision board, sometimes it's a visualization where I can feel it and I can smell it. I use my creative impulse to bring it about. And what law am I using? I mean, I didn't create the law of gravity, but I certainly use it. And I didn't create the law of cause and effect, but I certainly use it. In fact, I was using it before I knew it was called that. I know you were too sometimes, right? Turns out, before we examined our life, we were using our beliefs to create our experience. We didn't even pick those beliefs. It just happened because that's how life creates. The policeman who pulls us over and says, "Do you know how fast you were going?" No? Well, that doesn't stop him from giving you a ticket, right? You don't have to know about it in order to use it. The law is what it is. And so I love that we are the ways in which spirit is experiencing itself. And I'll go back to it. When the divine said, I want to experience myself as Charlene, boom, it created me. And then I get to use that same creative energy to create my experience. So how does that even happen? And I want to give you guys a tiny little thing. And I didn't really plan to say this, but here it is on my brain to just tell you. I was upstairs in my bathroom. I was looking out at the world. A bunch of trees back there. They're still bare, but they're starting to get their buds. And as a programmer, I was thinking, So I kind of get why people have thought that God is dead, because they think that this anthropomorphic one guy up in the sky comes and talks to everybody when they pray. And I'm like, as a programmer, that doesn't even make any sense. I would never program something where I have to babysit it. That's dumb. I want to go on vacation. I would write, if I were a creator, and I am, of software, I write stuff that figures itself out. It dynamically, I put in the code things that figure out how to work on its own without me intervening. So I thought about life and I'm like, oh, good one, God. I see what you did there. So in your creation, you created all of the things that we need. And so we don't need all this like hand holding. We already have in ourselves everything we need to do all the things because it was imbued in us from the very beginning. And so that was my little analogy about programming. And I don't think there's some big architect called God with a bunch of computers like in the Matrix. But I do feel like the divine is pretty intelligent, right? It created a creation that creates. And through all of it, it's still there. It's still there. The divine intelligence that created it didn't walk away like I would from software. No. It left behind a piece of itself. And so it's like this. It's like the water molecules in the ocean. The ocean is a collection of the molecules, and the molecules are the ocean. It's hard to take it apart. And so consciousness, intelligence, it goes all the way down to the most minute particle that we can discover. And I think that's a muon at this point, but they'll probably find something else, something smaller than that. And it goes on and on. God's right there. The divine is right there. It doesn't have to worry about, it's just all there. So, and then there's this story I'm going to read you. I have to read it because I don't want to mess it up. And it all ties in. So it's called The Parable of the Eagle. Now, the parable of the eagle, it's an adaptation of an allegory that was written by an African intellectual. His name is Eman Kwegyir Agre. He's a powerful educator as well, and he was born in Ghana in 1875 with a legacy that if you Google it, it's amazing. But anyway, here's the story. A man went into the woods. He wanted to catch a bird which he could take home. He caught a young eagle and put him in the backyard with the chickens, the ducks, and the turkeys. All right, just get this for a second. An eagle. He put him with the chicken, the ducks, and the turkeys. He gave him chicken food. Okay, it's called chicken feed, fine. He gave him chicken feed. And even though he was an eagle, the king of birds, he's treating him like a chicken. 5 years later, the man who has now an eagle living amongst the other things, he was visited by someone who loved nature. And while they were walking together in the garden, this naturalist observed, "That bird is not a chicken, he's an eagle." "And yes," said the first man, "I know that's true, but I have raised him as a chicken. Now he is no longer an eagle, but a chicken, even if he has a 3-meter wingspan." "No," said the other man, "he will always be an eagle because he has the heart of an eagle. He can fly very high in the sky." "No, no, no," said the first man. "He really is a chicken now, and he will never fly." They decided to try an experiment. The naturalist took the eagle, lifted him up, and said with great feeling, "Who are you, eagle? You belong in the sky and not to this earth. Use your wings and fly." The eagle sat on the man's fist and looked around and flopped right to the ground with the chickens. Oh, the naturalist, I'm sure, was totally deflated, but not completely. The first man said, "Told you, that's a chicken." "No," said the naturalist, "he's an eagle. We'll try again tomorrow." The following day, the visitor took the eagle up on the roof of the house. He lifted him up and said, "Eagle, you are an eagle. Use your wings and fly." But when the eagle saw the chickens scratching in the yard below, he jumped down towards them again and scratched alongside them. Then the first man said once again, "I have already told you, he's a weakling." "No," said the other, "he's an eagle, and he still has the heart of an eagle. Let's try again. Tomorrow we shall see him fly." So the following morning, the naturalist got up early, took the eagle, left town, going far away to the foot of a mountain, the foot of a very high mountain. The sun was just rising, gliding the summit of the mountain. So imagine that. You're at the foot of a tall mountain, and the sun is rising right behind that mountain, so that the peak of the mountain has the sun shining right behind it. It's quite fetching, you must agree. And he lifted the eagle up and said, "Eagle, you are an eagle. You belong in the sky and not on this earth. Use your wings and fly." And the eagle looked around him, trembling, as if filled with new life, but he did not fly. Then the man who loved nature let the eagle look directly at the sun. And suddenly the eagle felt that heat on his body and stretched his powerful wings and took off with a big "ha!" And he flew higher and higher, and he never came back. Yay, eagle. I love this story. I love this story because I'm thinking about us when we're born into whatever circumstances. And whatever creative urge that is in us is our heart of our eagle, our heart of the eagle. And everybody's not the same. No, no, no. My eagle's heart might my eagle's heart might be in one direction, Like, I remember when I was coming up, I was always dancing and running around and just being a hoot. And no one ever told me to stop it. Or if they did, I didn't listen. I mean, I was hyper and I had to burn that energy. That was me. And they never told me I had to be like the other chickens who all sat down and behaved well. They just figured out how to let Charlene be Charlene. And that's awesome. But imagine, each and every one of us has the heart of an eagle in a creative way. And sometimes we're told that it's not good. We're told that we are just like the others. And we're bred into this environment that is supposed to be just like everybody else. But at some point, I know that there's somebody that comes to us. Maybe you come to a center, you take a class, or you have this. Ernest Holmes says that there's a divine impulse in each and every one of us. And it is to be great in some way. And it's going to keep pushing. And that if we don't listen to this creative impulse, then to the degree that we ignore it, to that degree we become sick. And we become like a little bit ill and just not thriving in our world because we are consciously or unconsciously pushing down our creative urge. And so this day, I would just like to encourage each and every one of us to take some time and jot down in your notebooks, what was it that you always wanted to do when you were really young that people sort of said, nah, you can't do that? What divine urge do you have that you keep talking yourself out of? That is your growing edge. That is your divine creativity that really wants to express itself as you. That's your inner eagle. And we use these situations that make us a little uncomfortable as the naturalist who comes and sees us and says, oh my gosh, why that's not a chicken. 3-meter wingspan. Come on now. You can just let him scratch around the earth like that. That poor little eagle. And besides, the eagle that was being raised with the chickens didn't see any other examples of eagleness, right? That's the other thing. Sometimes when I know for me, I've come into this expertise as a businesswoman, as a programmer. There are not a lot of people that look like me in this industry. And so it is kind of on me to make sure that I have a little more visibility and that people do see, there's an African-American business owner who does software. I could be an African-American business owner who does software because everybody else I've seen looks completely the opposite of her. I didn't know I could do that. And so I can be that little example, that mental equivalent, that picture in someone's mind that says, some little girl can say, oh, I can do that. The little eagle just didn't have anybody that would A, show him his own eagleness, or B, give examples of other types of fowl that are not bound to the ground. What a waste of a life, though, right? I love that in the chat someone said, well, the naturalist owes the farmer a chicken. I agree. I think he should return with a chicken and say, here you go. I took your eagle, but here's a chicken. So how do we cultivate this? Let's say you do feel a divine urge and you do want to follow this idea of, I want to listen to the thing inside me because it's going to get louder than all of the other things outside of me if I don't follow it. Divine urge, it'll push through. I mean, have you ever seen a flower bursting through a cracked piece of concrete? I mean, that is the divine urge of life pushing through circumstances. It will express itself. And so we have to ask ourselves, well, what is it that I've been kind of afraid to do? What is it that I've been kind of putting off? We're going to try to crack open our creativity and we're going to say yes to some of those urges. Saying yes, because when we turn our attention toward anything, the universe always says yes. Come on. We talked this before, that if you pay attention a lot to something negative, then you get more of that. And we talked about you have to train your thinking to be thinking about what you want because the universe says yes. Oh, sickness? Yes. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough money? Yes, you don't have enough money. Like if you think poor, it'll say yes, poverty. If you think sick, yes, sickness. And the law doesn't really, it's like a mirror. It'll put back whatever's put in. It doesn't judge. It says yes. And so our job is to put in our minds the things that we want. We want to focus on what we do want. And so we say yes internally to our own creativity. We put that into the law because the law always says yes. So there's two yeses there. We say yes to our creativity, and the law reflects it right back to us. So during this next week, I encourage you to change things up a bit. I want you to change furniture around in one of your rooms. Just do it. Put the couch on the other corner, on the other, right? Remove certain things, add new things. It's spring. You have an excuse. Say that you're spring cleaning and change it up. Go a different way to work if you have to leave to go to work. If you work from home, switch out where the computer is. Just switch something. Get a new twist on your everyday life and see what it opens up and what kind of things flow inside of you. And don't forget to play. That's also a big, big part of it. And we're just going to allow our affirmations and our meditation and our prayer to always be focusing on what it is we do want, how it is we can be more creative in this world, and just try saying yes to a bunch of different things and see how that changes your life. So until next week, I wish you a wonderful, creative next few days. Let's go within to prayer. In this moment, I know that there's only one divine power. That one is Spirit. That this Spirit is moving through me, as me, individuated as me. And it cannot be separate from me. And so with this awareness of my oneness, I know that whatever Spirit has in mind for me is always for my highest good. That always more abundance, more peace, more love, more joy is available to me. All I have to do is say yes. I open and I expand and I use my consciousness to be more aware of all that is there for me. And I speak my word for myself and for each and every one of those who are in the sound of my voice, that truly the universe is desiring more and more and more good for us. And we are growing into that. We are allowing our creativity to lead us, and we are allowing our good, our feelings of good, our feelings of wholeness, our feelings of divine love to lead us, because that we know that our impulse is always for our highest good. Our divine impulse is always leading us to our highest good. And so I just know that for each and every one of us, even if we are confronted with challenges, that we say yes to the challenge because we know we are up for it. We know that we have what it takes to meet that challenge face on. Just face it and move through it using the support of one another if we have to. And because on the other side of that is even more becoming of our higher selves. I look forward to revealing and feeling and seeing all of the ways in which creativity is just blooming through each and every one of us. I know it is already happening. Why? Because the universe already said yes. So I release my word into the law, knowing it is already done. I say, and so it is. Ashe, ashe. And Miss Leah will take us into the next song.
You know, Shar, it's interesting because last night I started making up a bedtime story for Lucia, the little one who's 6. And there were birds and there was a bird who wasn't in place, and it wasn't quite the ugly duckling, and I couldn't figure out what the story wanted to be, and I think it was that. So I'm going to retell it tonight with the eagle among chickens, and I think it'll land a lot better than it did last night. So thank you for that specific parable, and thank you for the reminder of our little yes and the universe's big yes. So as I sing this song, this is another invitation. It's a call and response. I'm going to sing a line and invite you to respond. I'm going to keep on saying yes. Okay, so it goes like this. Don't give up, don't turn around. Keep on saying yes. Keep your feet on solid ground. Keep on saying yes. When your heart cries out, there is work to do. Keep on saying yes. 'Cause love's got something that's just for you. Keep on saying yes. I'm gonna keep on saying yes. I'm gonna keep on saying yes. Keep showing up. Give my best. Gonna keep on saying yes. I'm gonna keep on saying yes. Yes, I'm gonna keep on saying yes. Keep showing up. Giving my best, gonna keep on saying yes. Don't give up, don't turn around. Keep on saying yes. Keep your feet on sacred ground. Keep on saying yes. When your heart cries out, there is work to do. You keep on saying yes. 'Cause love's got something that's right for you. You keep on saying yes. I'm gonna keep on saying yes. Yes, I'm gonna keep on saying yes. Keep showing up. Give my best. Gonna keep on saying yes. I'm gonna keep on saying yes. Yes, I'm gonna keep on saying yes. Keep showing up. Give my best, gonna keep on saying yes. I'm gonna keep on saying yes. I'm gonna keep on saying yes. Keep showing up. Give my best, gonna keep on saying yes. One more time. Keep on saying yes. I'm gonna keep on saying yes. Keep showing up, giving my best, gonna keep on saying yes.
Woo-wee. Oh my goodness gracious. What a way to kick off the month of April. Thank you so much, Charlene. I know we're all going to keep that parable of the eagle in our hearts and use it this week and not be chickens. We're going to be eagles and fly. And Leah, thank you so much for that song. That was just amazing. Now it's time to bless the donations that are shared today. At CSL Leesburg, we believe in the law of circulation. As we give, so shall we receive. So we are a tithing community. The donations that are shared with our center bless everyone, those who give and those who receive. So look at our screen. There are so many ways for you to give. It's easy to find a way that works best for you. And now it's time to bless our gifts. So no matter how you're given, just take that over your heart. It might be virtually, it might be physically, and let's join in our affirmation of oneness. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And I will fly like the eagles. All right, now it's time for our announcements. So as always, we have our dream study on Tuesday mornings with Charlene. I know it's been going on, Charlene, but boy, yesterday I was dreaming. So if you can join Charlene and her friends at 9 o'clock on Tuesday, they help you interpret your dreams. They add some perspective. Sometimes it's hard for us to understand our dreams because we're too close to them, but we have our friends that help us out. So that is on Tuesdays at 9. And for the month of April, we've been having fun, shaking things up. So what are we doing on Wednesday nights at 7? We want to hear your ideas. Let's use our creativity that's brainstormed together. And you can see we kind of have a plan. This Sunday, we're going to meet. We're just going to talk about fundraiser ideas. What ideas can you bring to us that will help us kind of just boost our budget a little bit? And we'd love to hear from you and explore with you some ideas. On the 13th of the month, we'll explore future classes and workshops. So it's our time to hear from you and put together our creative juices and find out what do we need to offer this year in as far as creative classes and workshops. What do you need to help you along on your spiritual journey? And then on April 20th, out and about activities. What can we do to get together? It's wonderful to meet via Zoom, but are there ways that we can get together and do some out and about and go out and explore and get together, see each other face to face? Let's hear your ideas on what you think we can do. So we're celebrating creativity this month. And on Wednesdays at 7, we're going to be exploring all kinds of new ideas. Please join us if you can. Oh my, and now it's time to end this wonderful sacred time together. But I want to invite you, if you can, stay with us afterwards where we share our pearls, what resonated with you today, what will you be carrying with you? And if you can't join us and stay a little bit, we will do our closing affirmation and then send you off with our love and blessings. So right now at this point, place your hands once again over your heart. Just feel that for a moment. Remind yourself that you are an eagle and you were born to fly. And join me in saying, I am love.
I am love.
I am love.
Woo, I love that. I love that. Now look at someone near you. Maybe just look on screen, somebody who's in the room with you or a furry friend, and remind them, you are love.
You are love.
Our love. Now put your hands up in the air as we do our love sprinkles. It's all love.
It's all love.
All love. Oh, like I said, stay if you can. And if you can't, we send you off with our love and our blessings. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Have a wonderful week.